replicate it? How can you apply some of those principles and ideas?
So the number one thing that I can sincerely say that absolutely changed everything, I worked on myself first, period.
So here's the formula. Learn something new, and then do it and implement it.
Against all odds, right? Against, everything, they persevered.
I didn't have to be that smart guy that's going to go out and create all this tech stuff.
I had found all of these other hidden loopholes within the eBay system, like alternative ways to make money on eBay.
And they did it in this industry. They did it in online marketing. All right, hey, welcome to The Journey. Welcome back. If you are coming back to us here, very excited to have you for another episode. Again, if you're just tuning in, you don't really know much about what The Journey is about. My name is Vic Strazius, and I'm the founder and creator of the 4%, as many of you may already know. And I'm very excited about this particular episode because I get to interview somebody who is a powerhouse in our industry, somebody who's a TV personality, sold over 1 million books on TV, super affiliate, mega promoter, mentor to millionaires, and his name is, you might have recognized this guy, Anthony Morrison. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm in Miami Beach, Florida. How can you be bad, right?
You cannot be bad in Miami, Florida, man. And so we're just hanging out here, you guys. We're in Miami, and I wanted to sit down with Anthony because I know anytime when you get together with a man like your caliber, Anthony, you've got to take advantage of the opportunities. And I wanted to interview you and discuss your journey.
Yeah.
So what the show is about is basically who you are today, which is we'll get to your story here in just a minute. But it probably didn't start like that.
No.
Right. So what were the lessons? What were the breakthroughs? What were the mistakes? I want to know it all, man. And I'm the advocate for beginner, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So you guys are watching this live. Let us know. Communicate with me. Right. I like that two-way interaction, two-way street going on. If you're watching this on Facebook right now, anywhere, if there's an ability for you to comment or hit that like button or that heart button, whatever that is. Let us know. You're going to get tons and tons of value from this episode. I can promise you that. Anybody who goes, and sells 1 million books on TV, right, does like mega promotions and just things that you have done, Anthony, over, in your career, definitely there's a wealth of knowledge that we can draw from. And that's what I want to talk with you about, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Who are you? Who are you right now? What's Anthony Morrison like right now? What are you up to? What are you doing right now? Give us a snapshot.
Gosh, learned a lot, right? I feel like I'm like kind of down that road that I've been dragging myself down now for the last 10 years. But I think I'm definitely focused on helping my students, focused on teaching people internet marketing and the things that I've done for the last 10 years. And I think it kind of all stems, we all talk about the reason why we do things, right? I'm sure you've talked to a lot of them about, why they want to start their own business. Why do they want to do internet marketing? Why do they want to be an entrepreneur in general, I think we all have to kind of tap into that. And I think for me, I'm kind of now coming to the point where I can kind of go back and connect all the dots on my journey, right?
Yeah.
Kind of see how all of that really has come full circle for me. Because I started off, like you said, I didn't start off as wanting to do this. I was actually going to medical school. That was my goal anyway, starting off.
So how long ago did you get into the online space?
Probably, let's see, 34 now, about 10 to 12 years ago. Yeah, 10 to 12 years ago. I was in college, and I was really focused. I've always been a super focused person, and I was focused on going to medical school. So when I went to school, I didn't go to a big school. I went to a small private school in Mississippi where I didn't have a lot of distractions. It's where I really learned to not allow distractions to take me off course, right? So many people have that issue. And I was going to medical school, and that's what I wanted to do. And then my dad, my third year in college, he had made some bad investments, invested in WorldCom stock, and he lost his entire life savings, literally like that, 24 hours gone. He was a successful real estate investor on apartment complexes, duplexes, houses, all kinds of stuff. He sold it all. He retired, thought he was kind of at the end of his journey where he could begin a new chapter, just retired and enjoying his family, and all of a sudden he was back at square one, right? He was, for all practical purposes, he had no income, he was broke in his mid-60s. So that's kind of what pushed me to this place, to this road,
So you started out, and by the way, we will be talking, I want to talk about, marketing strategies. I want to talk about what's working for you right now. I want to talk about traffic. I want to talk about business in general. We'll get to that. Let's go back to where you got started, right? So, if you walk me through your first beginnings of internet, because this is a lot of people are watching this. There are people that are just getting started. There is a guy that's watching this that just goes like this into a brick wall right now, right? So I want to fish for as many of the breakthroughs that helped you that somebody else might be able to implement, and apply in their business. But there's another guy that's watching this right now that might be, at a certain level of success, but he wants to go higher. Right?
Yeah.
How do we do that? And so
so for somebody beginning, and actually for anybody that wants to go higher, right, wants to go further than where you are right now. Here's the thing: one of the things I learned, I've learned all of this through my own, my own path, right? Nobody ever taught me this. I can see how the pieces fell into place for me to kind of follow these principles throughout my journey to where I'm at today. But the first thing I learned was not being scared, right? So a lot of people, when they start off, they're scared. Right. And I'll never forget, my dad, when he lost $1 million overnight, and it's not like he called me and said, "Son, I lost $1 million overnight." I mean, I would hear my parents talking about it, and I remember feeling scared, scared for them, scared for me. I mean, I'd always grown up seeing somebody so successful, you know what I mean? Your parents an entrepreneur, you see them, that's what they do, and you just always assume they're going to be in that, strength position, and all of a sudden you see it crumbling, and it tests you. And I remember, hearing the conversations about that, and saying to myself, what can I do online? How can I build a business? And I immediately looked to the internet because it gave me freedom to still go to school. My parents would have killed me if I had dropped out of school to do anything to help them. So I said, I can still do this online business, but I can still, go to school. So a lot of people, when they start off, they say, well, I don't know if I can find the time to do it, right? I guess that's number one, is where do I find the time? And the answer to that is you stop what you're doing and you pay attention to your day, and you can find the time. I took 21 hours of class, 8 hours of labs that I didn't get credit for, and still ran an internet business in college, right?
So do you think is that I don't have the time, which is I'm glad that you kind of spotlighted that little thing. I do hear a lot of people talk about it, right? Is that a valid objection? Is that a valid complaint? Is that a valid thing? Or is it just an imagined thing? It's just like I'm just going to cover it up because I'm so scared to go into being independent.
Yeah, I think it's an excuse. I think it's something that you can say, I don't have time, and that makes you feel good about not taking action.
Exactly. You give you permission to fail.
Yeah, and so you're like, look, I just don't have the time to start that. So it's not like, it's not like I'm doing anything wrong. I just don't have the time.
Right. And you don't take responsibility for it because now you're like, it's not me.
Right, yeah, it's not really my fault.
Yeah.
I can't help that I don't have time. I have kids, and I have a job, and I have these things I have to do, and all these activities I have to be at, and all this stuff. But the fact of the matter is, there's very few people that have less free time in a day than a pre-med college student, because you don't even get credit for all the hours that you're stuck in classes and studying and all these things. And I still found the time. And I think it goes back to, you make this excuse that you don't have enough time, and it's because you're scared, right? And you have this fear that you're going to fail. And like you mentioned, you really do have to give yourself permission to fail at something in order to know if you can ever succeed in it, right? I mean, you're definitely going to fail if you never even start. Exactly. And that's what I told myself. I said, all right, look, I want to be successful with this. I can make the time. I used to stay up from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. working on my business. And then I would be up at 7 a.m. back in class, didn't get out till 3 or 4 in the afternoon, studied from 3 or 4 in the afternoon until 1 a.m., and then right back at it. I slept 2 to 3 hours a night while I was building my business. Still finished college, still got through everything for medical school, all that, and still ran and built an entire internet business from scratch. So the time thing, again, I got past that by telling myself, I'm not scared to fail at this. What do I have to lose, right? And so for me, I just figured out how to make it happen, and I started this business. I wasn't scared. I didn't let anything hold me back. There were a lot of people that told me I was going to fail, including my dad. When he found out I was doing this, he said, don't do it. You can't do it. Focus on school. You need to be a doctor. The things that I think all of us probably think our parents would say to us if we just decided we were going to abandon school and go play on the internet, 10 years ago.
Doctors.
Yeah, everybody wants to be a doctor and a lawyer. So, for me, it was all about, I found the time because I wasn't scared to fail, and I really had tapped into the reason why I wanted to be successful. And that's another thing, people watch a lot of videos, especially with social media today. It's way worse than it was when I started my business. Now you get on Facebook and you see the Lamborghinis and the big houses and the trips and the private plane, all these things that people are doing, and you're just like mesmerized, and that's what you really want. But that's not really enough, I don't think, to drive people to spend more time on their business than on their extracurricular activities. Like, if everybody wanted a Lamborghini so bad or a private plane so bad, then people wouldn't be playing Candy Crush on their cell phones.
Right.
They would be actually working.
How true,
right?
huh?
Think about that.
Yeah.
So if you tap into something that you know drives you far more than a car or anything like that, you'll then you'll be aware of where you're spending your time, and you'll have less fear of failure because you know the outcome, if you can be successful with this, is so great. And for me, it was helping my family. So I mean, I had this driving force. I didn't want my parents to lose their house. I didn't want my dad to be in this position where he couldn't take care of his family. I didn't want my brother to not go to college. I didn't want my sister to not go to college. So I had a lot of reasons why I wanted to be successful. And that was the most important thing in helping me not be scared, and then obviously be aware of the fact that I had plenty of time to do it if I was just dedicated to it.
Okay, so you go to college, you learn, you get into this online space. Walk me through your first breakthrough. What were you doing, if you don't mind? Did you create your own product? Was it somebody else's product you were selling? What were you doing?
You know, I was brand new. I was really green, and I never really started an internet business. I never had the desire to start an internet business, right? So what I did was I looked at, you've heard people say, find something you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of took that, I think, a different way. I said, find something I'm knowledgeable about, find something I know something about, and there's a good chance I can make some money in that industry, right? So my parents had bought me a Ford Mustang when I was 15, and I spent a lot of my dad's money on that car. It was like 200 horsepower, and by the time I was in college, it was 1,000 horsepower. So we had spent a lot of money on it, and so I knew so much about them that I said, look, I can sell Mustang parts because I am my own customer. I know where I exist online, so I know where all my customers are. I know where I used to hang out and the places I would go. And I know how to sell the parts because I'm the one buying them, you know? Made a lot of sense. So I got online, and I hired a girl off of some little e-commerce forum to build me a website to sell Mustang parts. And I started calling all the vendors. Now, this was long before a Shopify or an Amazon or anything like that. And I had to talk my way in to being able to be a distributor for these products, for these companies, because they would require $10,000 and $20,000 buy-ins so that you could get wholesale pricing. And I burned through, man, Vic, I burned through so many. I called so many of them trying to talk my way in. And I finally got one breakthrough, one company, UPR Products, that I talked into letting me sell their products on my website. And the minute I got that one, all of them came, because nobody wants a company selling their competitors' products but not theirs. So I knew all it took was just one. And if one domino fell, they would all fall. And that's what happened. And so I ended up one of the largest distributors for Mustang performance parts in the southeastern part of the country, all because I was persistent. And every time somebody told me no, I just found a new way in.
So this is what year we're talking?
Oh man, I don't know. This is my junior year in college, so probably 2004-ish.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we started out about the same time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're about the same age. Started out about the same time. Yeah, it's been a while.
So how are you selling these parts? You got a little website going?
Yeah, built an e-commerce store. At the time, it was called Monster Commerce.
How are you getting the traction?
So interesting. It's kind of the way I've always done it. Free traffic. So for that specific business, I knew these forums online, these message boards, where all the buyers were, where like people that own Mustangs, they go chat and they talk and they sell parts. So for me, I say free traffic, but I went on there and I paid the owners of those forums $75 a month to let me advertise and post my products inside of the forum. So not just a banner, but like actual activity in posts. And it blew up my business. Now, I had to be responsible. I had to actually go make this post every day, respond to people, that kind of stuff. But we went from zero to, very first month, we did about $6,000. And within that first year, we were up to $250,000 a month selling Mustang parts for like like 6 years of Mustangs.
Mhm.
So we're talking about very, very targeted, type of product. And we were doing $250,000 a month and spending $75 a month on advertising.
Incredible.
So it's all about finding the way I've always seen it is if you can find a spot online where people with a common interest come together and talk,
Yeah.
right? And you can insert yourself as either authority or your business, as a provider of a product or service in that group, right? It will spread like wildfire because all of those people are telling each other what they're buying and what they're doing, right? So you get one person to buy your product and they go make a post about it.
Yeah.
And then 75 other people buy your product because that person said, I bought it and look what it did for me, right? So it's all about finding these little sites with micro niches, right? And that's the way, now that's evolved into Facebook fan pages
Yeah.
where now everybody's in one spot at one time in this all of common interest, common niche. And when you build things like that, you've just got this massive army of people that are ready to buy the products that you have, and that's how I did it. And so literally $75 and it's just insane number of sales.
Do you believe in moral authority principles? Let me put it like this. A little side note, or a little side, we're going to deviate here from it, and then we're going to come back to what happened next. How important, in your opinion, is that for somebody, when they sell a product, to be the product of the product, to know what they're selling, to actually be using the product? Sounds like that's what you were using or doing with the Mustang.
To me, especially for something like that, was very important. And not only just from the fact that I could say, I'm using this, right? Because I sold a lot of products I didn't use.
Right.
But more or less from the standpoint of authority, when somebody asks me a question, I know how to answer that question in a way that A, they're going to understand it,
Yeah.
and B, I can still sell them the product, right? So for instance, somebody calls me for a mass air meter on a Mustang. 99% of people watching this video and everyone down there don't have a clue what that even is.
Exactly.
So if you have no clue what it is, and somebody calls you to buy it, and you can't answer one question about it, how are you going to sell it?
Right.
So for me, I could say, yeah, I have one of those on my car. Let me tell you this, 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 and this. But not only can I lend kind of my authority to that product, I can also say, and by the way, it works really, really well with these injectors or this part over here or that part over there. It allows you to sell more products, right? And additional products when you have some knowledge about what you're selling. And so for me, I think it was key for me to be able for me to have the knowledge I had about Mustangs at the time when I was selling those products. Absolutely.
What happened next? You're making $250K a month. Pretty comfortable lifestyle, I bet.
Yeah.
Right? How long were you doing that for? Obviously, if you want to share that. And then how did you evolve? What was your next big thing?
I was doing that for years. I would say maybe 3 years of it. I graduated college, came home, was running that business full time. I had no support. I had no office. I had no nothing. So I had 2 cell phones, both with call waiting.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, like I said, be driven, right? You have to find what drives you and makes your business the most important thing in your life in order for you to really break through, especially if you've been, I guess, having some failures along the way or challenges along the way, when you really tap into what drives you. Because for me, every dollar I made was $1 less that my parents had to worry about.
So you had a big why in your family.
Massive. Like every single time I made a sale, I knew that was $1 less my dad had to worry about. And I had that mentality even as I was making $250,000 a month. See, I watched my dad go from owning banks and hotels and just all kinds of stuff to being in his mid-60s and being broke.
Yeah.
And so I watched the rise and the fall, right? And it's a lot different than coming from nothing, right? Like a lot of people say, I came from nothing. I didn't. I came from a family that was very well off. But then I watched it crash in his mid-60s when you should be able to relax and enjoy life. And so I always maintain that reality that it doesn't matter how much money you're making, right? You can't get comfortable, you can't get complacent, and you can't just trust that it'll always be there. So you have to stay driven and you have to stay focused. And I've done that my whole life, since then. I've just been driven and focused. And so for me, I was answering phone calls, sometimes 400 a day by myself. And I mean, I was just burning the candle at both ends. And I learned so much about marketing online that I started thinking, man, there's got to be a better way than this e-commerce stuff. Because years ago, it was hard. That was when people wanted to call you to buy something. They didn't want to just buy it online, especially if it was $2 to $3 grand for a car. They wanted to call.
Yeah.
So it was just, that's where I got this gray hair from. That's where it came from.
Figuring that stuff out.
It came from the phone calls from Cool Blue. Where's my tracking number? Where's my part? My car is broken. You didn't get it here on time. And I said, man, there's got to be a different way. And that's when I realized, I looked at, right now I was fulfilling a service that people wanted, right? Something they were passionate about. And I said, I wonder if I could fulfill a service that people need, like something they really need, right? And do it without having to handle any of the e-commerce part of it. Because again, back then it was much more difficult than it is now. And that's when I found marketing credit cards online. I found that banks would pay me to help them get new applicants. People need credit cards. I know marketing. Banks will pay me to connect them. And I just kind of connected all the dots, and I was like, let's try this. So I started my credit card marketing website. And for people that are watching this that think it costs a fortune to start a business, I got on eBay and I paid $200 to have somebody, I don't even know who, build me a prefabbed credit card marketing website. Like they built a script, they just installed it. On a $200 website, I went in and I started marketing credit cards for the banks, and I built that up to where it was doing, between $200,000 and $300,000 every single month on autopilot. The margins were higher because there was no product cost. The stress was obviously lower because there were no phone calls. And so for a while, I had both of these businesses running, and eventually, I woke up one day and said, "Man, I don't want to do this anymore." And I just went into my little e-commerce store and I clicked off, and I just turned it off. So I didn't sell it. Hindsight 2020, I probably should have. I didn't know anything about selling a business at the time, I just knew that it was killing me. Yeah. And I'd replaced that income with income over here that was far greater,
more automated.
And more automated. Yeah. And so that's when I got into affiliate marketing. I found it just by, I think, the need to have a little bit of the stress off of me, but still, be making money.
So in affiliate marketing, did you use the same, strategies for getting people to your site?
Yeah.
So how do you finding people that are into credit cards, or what? How did you get traffic?
Okay, so that was when AdWords was real, like Google AdWords and even Overture.
Yeah.
Right. So paying to put your ad on a search engine, right? So you'd have to select keywords, right? And you look at a keyword just like you would a web form. Anybody, or a message board, anybody that's typing in this keyword, they're all coming to one place, yeah. Google, and they're looking for a specific thing, right? So I'll ask you. I've asked so many people this in over the years. If you were marketing credit cards, let's just say Chase credit cards, okay? What keyword do you think would make the most sense? Do you think keywords like cards would make sense? Would you use that keyword?
No.
No. What about send me the card?
No.
What about credit card?
It would be specific, credit card.
Chase, right. Chase credit card.
Chase credit card.
All of those types of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what everybody did. But the fact of the matter is, send me the card, the one that you said no to,
right.
And that I'm telling you thousands of people across the country have said no to.
You're kidding.
Here's the thing. All the banks at the time would send letters out in the mail.
Yeah.
And they were pre-approved invitations, but they wanted to track them. They didn't want people to go online and go to chase.com and apply for it. They wanted you to go somewhere that had nothing to do with Chase, a URL that had nothing to do with Chase, because they wanted to track it and they didn't want you to accidentally end up on Chase. So for instance, Chase, when they sent out a pre-approved invitation to you in the mail, it said, "Hey Vic, you're pre-approved for this Chase card. Go to sendmethecard.com." Or Discover's was the card with the number 4.
So you were capitalizing on that
direct mail,
on that momentum, on the direct momentum
that nobody else was paying attention to,
and people were going there, and you were just siphoning that traffic.
And here's the thing, it was pre-approved applicants. That doesn't mean that they were all 100% approved, but here's what it means. It means out of all those people down there, I got the ones that the banks felt like would be approved. So my cost per click was nothing because I had no competition.
Right.
My conversion rates were insane. because it was pre-approved applicants. And all I was doing was helping people that they were taking their mail and they were typing in these URLs, but they were putting them into Google instead of into their browser bar, because people don't know the difference.
Right.
Well, when you put them in, there was nothing there about what they were even looking for. So I would just put an ad there, and off they went. Now, I did that for years, and then I made one mistake. I made one small mistake, and that was I was so excited. This is a good lesson for those of you that are starting off. When you find something that really works, just
don't talk about it.
you button the. You don't have to tell everyone what you're doing, how much money you're making, and how successful you are. Just keep it to yourself. I told my affiliate manager for the credit card network, I said, hey, man, look, because they asked me how I was doing this, because I was killing it. I said, I'll show you. Let me show you how I'm doing it. So I go show them. The next day, newsletter goes out. Hey, all of our affiliates, would you like to make a lot more money marketing credit cards? Try this strategy.
Wow.
So obviously I created,
Blow the lid off.
but he who has been doing it longer can still win. Yeah. All I did was build 10 websites and bid $50 a click on all of them until everybody gave up, because they couldn't afford to bid what I could bid, and so then they went away and I still won. But the point is, I could have avoided that problem if I had just kept my mouth shut. But I always look for ways to find people that are looking for something specific and find them in a way that other people aren't. So while everybody else was doing what seemed normal, which would be use keywords about credit cards and the banks, I was using different ones.
So you got that idea from just looking at the direct mail?
Yeah, I walked down and got the mail from my parents one day, opened it up, and it said my dad was pre-approved for a Discover card. And I saw this website address on there, and it had the number 4 in it. Yeah. Which is weird, because we don't use numbers in our, in our website addresses. And I said, that's weird. And I went and typed it in, and it went to an application for a Discover card. And I was like, that's really weird. And so then I started looking for direct mail. So I would post online, hey, does anybody have any direct mail, like where you're pre-approved for a credit card? Put the website address in here, and I'd go to all these different places so I could get more, because those were, in my mind, those were keywords, and I found them for every bank. And then off we went. So
one idea can make you a millionaire.
Oh, yeah, that one 5 or 6 times over,
That's
all
true,
from direct mail. It's also just being aware of your surroundings.
But see, the thing is, Anthony Lutz, how many people are trying to literally looking at this, like business and marketing and traffic generation and my goodness, competition of all things, right? And they get like overwhelmed. What you did is you just like, hey, you just took yourself away from the craziness, right?
And focus a different way. If you look around you, there's always opportunity. There's always opportunity, but the problem is it's like we're blinded because we're going down this path with blinders on, and we're trying to do what everybody else does. Yeah. And we're trying to, follow the crowd, and we're trying to use, exactly what this person's doing will work for me, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. And the fact of the matter is, the path to success, no matter what business it is, whether it's in, traffic generation, e-commerce, affiliate marketing, it's like this. We've all traveled, and it's not a straight line, and everybody gets to that goal a different way. Yeah. And the way I saw it was, I'm going to take a step back, and I'm going to look at my surroundings and be aware of what's going on. Like I said, being aware of your time, that you have and what you're doing with it. And for me, I looked at it and I said, I'm going to be aware of what's going on. This makes sense. This is relevant to my business, and it's a different type of marketing. So I wonder if I can capitalize off this. And I did.
Were you building a list, or were you just straight out selling?
Oh, the perils of our mistakes.
Mistakes are part of it, man.
Oh, look, like I said, lots of things I've learned. When this guy built this website for me for $200, and he installed it, it had this little button on the home page, and it said newsletter, and a little box, and it had sign up button. And I swear to you, man, for all those years, I wondered what in the world that was. I didn't know what it was. Like, I had no clue what it was. It just said newsletter. They're laughing at me. I did not know what it was. I was not an email marketer. I had never done any, I didn't know. So yes, I built a list. No, I didn't know I was doing it. And then many years later, when we talk about kind of what I do now, I realized email marketing was key, and those websites were still on my server. And so I went back and started looking through them. I had hundreds of thousands of opt-ins, but they were just opting into like MySQL, right? They weren't even like on an email list, but I had their email addresses.
Not getting delivered or not getting sent
Never
emails.
an email sent. I didn't even know I had them until 8 years later, right? And hundreds of thousands in the financial space.
Wow.
Currently would cost like more than $1 million worth of email addresses. Like if you were list building, and these were people that were coming in from these were the cream of the crop.
Right.
And I never sent them a single email, and never have. So yes, if you're building your business, please build your list. Learn from my mistakes, because man, that was $1 million mistake. So multi-million-dollar business, yes, but $1 million mistake because I didn't know what I didn't know. Which is why it's great that you do these interviews and you have this course and you have this entire 4% club, because what it's doing is it's helping people. And if you watch this, you know, no matter what part of your business you're in, I mean, unless you're doing 20 million, 50 million, $100 million a year, which even then you can still learn. Yeah. But I mean, if you're doing nothing, or if you're doing $200,000 a year, there are a lot of lessons to learn from those of us that have done hundreds of millions of dollars online and made plenty of mistakes that have cost us millions of dollars along the way that you don't have to make because because you do these interviews and have this whole platform.
Google AdWords, you know, it was like Overture, you know, the good old days. I remember that, man. It was like great. It was awesome. It was the best thing ever. You know, somebody's like, I cannot advertise on Google affiliate programs anymore, man. Yep. What you gonna tell me about that, Anthony? What do I do now? How do I find those people in the same niche? You know,
now I use Facebook. It's always evolving traffic. You know what I mean? Google's great. There's still tons of people that use Google. You just have to be a little more creative with it. Yeah. I won't say that I'm one of them. When I got when I started making a lot of money as an affiliate, I started teaching my brother how to do it. And that was right when Facebook kind of hit the scene with advertising. And so when he came in doing Facebook ads. I was with Overture, which didn't even exist by the time he started. And he started doing Facebook ads, which led me to Facebook, because it was like, wow, okay, well, you can reach all these same people over here. Mm-hmm. And so we started doing Facebook advertising. And then from there, I started using fan pages and generating free traffic. And, that's kind of the model that we use now. But it's always an evolution. You can still use Google. You can still use Yahoo. You can still use Bing. In fact, the competition is far less because so many people don't do it now, right? They just go straight to Facebook. But Facebook is such a phenomenal way to find people. It's like a blend of Google, where you can pay to be in front of those people, and then message boards, where it's so many people with the same common interest. And with Facebook, you can just go all the way down to, Adrian's ridiculous with it, but you can just go all the way down to little details about people and advertise to them. It's such a phenomenal way to reach your exact customer for your business that, it's hard to beat it.
What's your, is that your primary traffic strategy right now?
Yeah, right now we run a lot of Facebook ads, and then we do a lot of Facebook fan pages. Mm-hmm. Because I look at fan pages as being the modern day forum, right? Where people come and they chat about a specific thing.
Yeah.
And so I think if I can build a lot of these fan pages around specific niches, I can tap right into all those people for free, and it costs me nothing. I don't have to pay Facebook to do it. Yeah. And so that's what I do now. And I wrote books on this. I wrote my first book that we, the one you're talking about, we sold 1 billion copies of. It was called Advertising Profits from Home. It was all about the advertising strategies that we were using, And if you go and you read that book, it's an evolution from Google to Facebook and pretty much everywhere in between,
What happened after the credit cards? Will you continue to to do affiliate stuff, or what was the next thing?
So I started teaching the credit card marketing. Taught it to my brother. He made money. I taught it to my college roommate. That was my senior year in college, and my college roommate wasn't my roommate. He was just my friend. And he used to come over to my apartment every night, and I would teach him how to market credit cards, what I was doing. he worked at his dad's suit store. He was trying to go to optometry school. He was struggling, like we all were, you know, with that. And so he wanted something else that he could do. So I started teaching him. This is a guy that never used Google at all before college, at all. And he made $1 million marketing credit cards, paid cash for his first house. He was 26, maybe, and he paid cash for his first house. I remember when we were in college, I told him, I said, look, because we'd obviously went our separate ways after college. He went back home and I went home. I said, when you make money with this, don't go buy jet skis and boats and cars and all that. Save the money, right? Just save your money, because you never know when you're going to need it, right? Like, because I was in this mindset of, you know, you can make a lot of money, but you can lose it real fast. And so a couple of years later, he calls me and says, I'm building my first house and I paid cash for it. And so, like I said, I drove down there and I met with him and I saw his house. And what was really inspiring to me was to see that I was giving him advice that I didn't really know if he was going to pay attention to or not, right? It was just how I was feeling at the moment based on, you know, my journey, the things that I'd gone through. And he listened to it. He didn't buy, and he told me, he said, I listened to what you said. I didn't buy jet skis. I didn't buy new cars. I didn't go take expensive vacations. I saved all my money, and now I'm able to pay cash for this house. And, you know, for me, that was like I said, that was a pivotal moment for me, because he's 26, and he'll never have to worry about losing his house like my dad did at 60, because his house was paid for. And it all happened from affiliate marketing, and specifically marketing credit cards. So for me, I said, I want to sell this. Like, I want to teach people how to do this.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd never been to a seminar or watched an infomercial or anything. I just was like so in the zone. I never paid attention to that stuff. So I called QVC, and I said, I built this website system. It was called Credit Card System. So I built this platform where I could put other people in business marketing credit cards. And I said, I want to sell it on QVC. That was the only way I knew to sell, where you could sell on TV. Needless to say, they didn't pay attention. And so they had no desire. And through a couple of connections my parents had, somehow I ended up with a guy that had been doing seminars his whole life. And he said, this would be a great product to sell in a seminar. I said, I have no clue what a seminar is, but it sounds good. If I can teach and sell and, you know, build this product out. And that's how I started, or why I started my seminar company. And the very first seminar we did was in Spartanburg, North Carolina, South Carolina, like the Tri-Cities area. And it was interesting because we went up there to do this seminar. We filmed a TV show called Hidden Millionaires, talked about my story, what I was doing, and that I would show other people how to do it. We ran it in that city. Hundreds of people showed up, and when they showed up, I had this awesome system built and this training built, and I actually stayed there and taught them after they enrolled. But I had no way to take credit cards, so I was going to teach you to market credit cards, but I couldn't charge your credit card because I couldn't get a merchant account, right? So a lot of people say, I can't get a merchant account, so I can't do it, right? Just like I said, they always make excuses.
Yeah.
For me, I just said, look, if people want it bad enough, they'll leave and they'll go get cash or they'll bring me a check. And so I literally did an entire marketing campaign, went right in and did a seminar teaching you how to market credit cards, but I could not accept credit cards as a payment. And I sat there for 2 hours while tons of people drove all over those cities back home to get checks. And they came up, paid with a check, and then I taught them how to do it. And that was how I started my seminar company. Not even able to accept credit cards. So again, I just never let something keep me from doing what I know will work. Like I have this major focus on it. I said, I'll figure it out. And so we did. And that started the next 8 years of traveling and teaching affiliate marketing. And eventually I transitioned to where my brother started doing it, and he started teaching, you know, what he's doing. And that's how we started our seminar company.
So you got to do seminars before you got to TV.
Yeah, the TV was kind of a byproduct of the seminars. I got tired of the travel from the seminars. I did it for so many years, and just speaking. And as much as I loved doing it, I was like a robot. Because I mean, there's only one way to teach the right way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it every week, it got so tiring. And so I along the way, met someone in St. Louis, Missouri, that brought me his card and said, "Hey, call me. We can help you with monetization and all this stuff, whatever, you know." And he ended up calling my office one day and said, "Look, I've got some connections. Would you like to take what you're doing and turn it into a book and sell it on TV?" And I thought, like on QVC or something? Yeah, I had no clue. I was trying to get on there forever ago. And he said, no, an infomercial. Okay. And so I flew out to Arizona to meet with them. And I don't think everybody really thought it was going to work, you know, that it was going to be a good thing. But I knew I could sell it, and I knew it made sense, and I knew that it would, that people that bought it would, if nothing else, have their minds opened up to the opportunity that something like affiliate marketing even exists, right?
Yeah.
Because for us, and probably for people watching this, like, this is something that is kind of general knowledge now in this space, but, you know, years ago, you'd say affiliate marketing, people look at you like you're crazy, you know? And so this, if nothing else, it opened up people's minds to the opportunity that exists, and then they could take their own path to get there, you know, to be successful with it, even if they didn't use everything in the book. And we filmed this TV show. They brought in Mark Victor Hansen. I had no clue who he was. No clue. Chicken soup for the soul and all this stuff.
Didn't mean anything.
No, sat down, filmed the show. Had no clue. Felt like an idiot that I didn't know who he was, but didn't. And yeah, I mean, we tested it. It did phenomenal. And the rest is history. We sold 1 million books. It's one of the most successful, it is the most successful internet marketing infomercial in the last 10, 20 years. So.
I love it, man. We can be here talking for 3 days nonstop. You know,
long path.
Hey, so one of the mistakes that you made is not paying attention to bliss building, right?
Yeah.
Deliberately, you didn't. So you confessed about that one.
This is a confession, yes.
What were some of the other mistakes that you have made that you think that other entrepreneurs could benefit from?
Wow. I think obviously, by and large, the biggest one was no email list.
Yeah.
Right? That was by far the biggest one. I would say the others, especially when I started selling my own products, is not enough relationship building. Too much selling, not enough relationship building.
With your prospects, with your audience.
Yeah. I mean, even once I got an email list, then I thought, oh, great, sell. Just, you know, every time you press this send button, you make money. You know, you hear that people say this all the time. So I'm like, hey, I'm on board, just send. You know, but you have to, you know, you have to send quality content and really build a relationship with the people on your list in order for that to make you money and be a sustainable long-term source of income for you, and also to provide value to the people that are on the list, right? Instead of just hammering with something to sell. So we used to do that. We used to just fire off sales promos every day, and it was because I didn't know any better. You know, I'd just gotten into this whole email list building thing, and that was it. So I would say not really understanding email marketing before I started pressing the send button, and then not building my email list to begin with were probably the two biggest mistakes that I made. And probably the third one was really I never focused on networking at all. I never focused on meeting people. I never focused on learning from other people. I just did it all myself. Like I wanted to do a seminar, I just did it myself. I wanted to film an infomercial, I just did it myself. Create a product, did it. I never went and sat down with somebody that's done it before and said, tell me something, right? So I paid my way and it did great. But I found, you know, years later that when you build a big network of people, when you go to events, when you pay attention to the people that are successful, man, just the little ideas, the little things that you get from people can make so much difference in your business and your success, you know?
Yeah. Dude, how do you stay so humble? I mean,
live in Mississippi.
Made millions of dollars. You talk like, just, you know, started that little deal, went from 0 to 300,000 a month, well, no big deal. So Anthony, you know, flying private, you know, doing like world-class activities that you're doing, right? What keeps you humble?
I think probably because when I started this, I didn't really start it to do any of that. It's a byproduct, you know. I actually started it just to take care of my family. And like we were talking before I even came on here, like when I was younger, my dad was super successful, but that also meant he was super non-existent, right? I mean, he just wasn't there. He was working. And so we would have baseball games and basketball games and football and vacations. We went on vacations every summer. My dad didn't go. I mean, we were just my mom and us. So when I always knew when I got older, I wanted to be able to, like, when I get married, have a family, have kids. Those were the things that I remember from my childhood that I didn't like, you know, that I wanted to change and didn't want to do. So for me, making a lot of money doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's great to be able to fly on a private airplane. That's phenomenal. But I'm not going to, I only do it in situations where it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I would rather save my money so that, like I said, you know, when I decide I want to have kids, I can, instead of being in Miami Beach, I can be at home, where you know where I want to be and where I wanted my dad to be. So I think for me, it's always just remembering why I started my business in general, and that keeps me focused on, you know, why I do this. It's not really about all the different things that we can do. Well, life is great. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's phenomenal, but it's not really the reason why I started doing this. You know, my focus is always just on security, and I guess that's easily like done when you watch somebody lose, you know, $1 million in 24 hours. You know, so that's where my main focus always is, and I think that and probably just living in Mississippi. It's easy to stay humble.
Yeah. Just go live in Mississippi.
Just live in Mississippi and everything will
I
be
guess
fine.
that's the secret, huh?
There's nothing going on that's gonna make you. It's gonna make you want to like just go make more money or you know do anything. It's just really calm. So
you guys are watching this. Hey, good stuff, isn't it? Huh? Hey, if you're watching this on Facebook, let me know if you're enjoying this. There's so many things that I can pull out, and I can, you know, so many nuggets, golden ideas, golden bars I can pull out from Anthony. For time's sake, we have to keep these interviews down to the time that we're limited to. If you're in the 4%, we'll have more stuff from Anthony Morrison coming to the 4%. Stay tuned for that. Some really, really cool stuff. Stuff that's working for you right now, Anthony. Stuff that you're doing that's making you millions and millions of dollars. Right? But yet, stuff that an average entrepreneur, beginner, intermediate, and an advanced entrepreneur can apply and catapult their business to the level they want to go to.
Right? I started off teaching people that were beginners. And now that I've done an awful lot in many different places, started teaching people that have done an awful lot in many different places, right? So the stuff that I do and the way that we're able to teach it, it's easily understood by someone who's brand new, but just as valuable to somebody who's got a multi-million-dollar business.
Love it. What would be the one, summarize your 10-year or 12-year journey, right? And if you could give one advice to an aspiring entrepreneur right now, who is watching right now, who might be going through some challenges, maybe getting a little discouraged because things are not working out that, you know, the way he planned or she planned, what would that thing be from Anthony Morrison?
Oh gosh, I can easily tell you that. Best piece of advice is to never give up. So like I have this training I do we talked about it every Thursday. I've done it for 2 years, and I end every single session with never give up, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're trying a specific traffic source, or you're trying a specific type of business, or you're just trying to start a business in general, right? You will always fail if you give up. And if you never give up, you've always got a chance to succeed. I like my life based on having the chance to succeed rather than just literally knowing I'm going to fail, right? So I always tell people you can't fail at something until you stop, right? So for me, I always look at it, I'm like, as long as you keep trying, you're going down the right path, right? Eventually you'll get there. Persistence. If you listen to lots of pieces of my story, a lot of it was persistence, right? Persistence is key, and that comes from never giving up. So anybody that's struggling, if you're struggling to even find the people around you that will support you, right? Which is always a tough thing. When you're not super successful, you've always tends to have negative people in your life, right? Try to pull you down. My advice is always to never give up, and don't worry about failing, right? Because you are guaranteed to fail if you stop. But it works. This stuff works, right? Like you have successful people. I have successful students. There's plenty of people watching this right now that are successful. So it does work. And the only difference between the ones that are super successful with this and the ones that fail, these people give up.
That's it. That's it. Love it. All right. Well, everybody, look, we're going to go ahead and cut this. Appreciate you, Anthony. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Lots of golden bars you dropped, man. And again, for somebody like yourself to, you know, do what you do and then just have this vast knowledge of this whole space, you know, is incredible. So definitely looking forward to bringing some of your stuff inside the 4% so that we can spread the message, we can help more people succeed. Speaking of the 4%, my friend, Are you a member of the 4% yet? If not, hey, come check it out. You know, we don't, we might not do it perfectly, but you know what? We want to help as many people become that 4%er. You know, there's 80% of the people, they're just talking about, hey, I want my life to be better. I want to go to stay in that hotel in Miami right there. I wish, oh, how good would it be, right? They do nothing about it, Now, there was the 80-20 in the top 20. Now, these top 20%ers, you know what they're doing? They're going to do something about it. They'll try. But then when they fail, they just throw in the towel. There was the 80-20 in the top 20. And these bottom 80% of the 20%, these guys are hustlers. These guys are, they're just grinders, man. They're just going to, smash their head, forehead up against the wall until the wall breaks, but they hurt themselves, right? Not necessarily the smartest thing. So the top 20 of the top 20, which is the 4%er, these guys are smart, right? So they figured out, hey, you don't need to know everything. You're talking about Facebook. You're talking about what you don't need to know about, everything about Facebook. You just need to know what you need to know, just a handful of things to get the result that you want to get. And that's why we created the 4%. So we said we're going to take a category and we're going to dissect, we're going to simplify it, help people get results by keeping it simple, right? Hence the 4%. And we're going to only deliver you the most potent information, the most potent, ideas and trainings that are available in the world, right? To help you get the result that you want. So check out what we're doing. We'll appreciate it. At any rate, whatever you do, no matter who you are, always go after your dream. You know what? You're watching these videos. If you're on my Facebook wall, you're following us. There was a reason for it, right? And that reason might be because you want something better. You can have it. Like Anthony said, don't give up. Go for it. If we can help you, we're pleased to do that. Okay, everybody. Until next time, have a fantastic day or night or wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Journey. Cheers.